railway crosses a pass above 5,000 meters. Pilgrims circle a 7th century temple. Between them, free boarding schools can reduce family labor while home languages weaken. Tibet. The future arrived, but no one can afford it. The new road does more than shorten a journey. It redirects trade, raises land prices, and pulls wages toward the town. A village may gain a phone signal while many households still cannot afford a handset. A clinic may move closer, yet fuel and fees can still block access. Modernization is not one bargain. Wealth lets some families adopt new tools while protecting old knowledge. Poverty forces harder exchanges. In this video, we examine who gains real control from the plateau's new connections and who pays through rising costs, distance from home, and fading language. The new pavement saves hours on the upper Mekong. Cheap industrial salt can erase the value of that saved time. At Yanjing, beside the upper Mekong, a tradition roughly 1,300 years old now reaches markets faster, while cheap industrial salt undercuts the same hand labor. Mineral brine rises from wells near the river. It must then climb to reservoirs and shallow clay beds held above the slope by timber terraces. Women have traditionally carried much of that load, pouring, raking, scraping, drying, sorting and packing. Sun and valley wind do the slow work. Human hands control every stage. Weather sets the terms. Rain weakens brine and damages the beds. Dry air concentrates it, and different surfaces help produce white or reddish crystals. Every load also rests on aging beams, clay roofs, and steep paths that demand repair before production can continue. Trucks have widened distribution, and visitors or direct sales bring extra income, but easier access has not made handmade salt cheaper than factory output. The road offers relief and threat at once. Yanjing may have to sell tradition through modern markets without reducing 13 centuries of skill to a demonstration. A road can erase days from a journey and still lose hours to one unstable slope. The Nujong 72 turns drop roughly 1,800 meters from Yella Pass toward the new river, forcing a major highway through repeated switchbacks. Dryers must cut speed before each blind bend, because riding the brakes down the grade can build dangerous heat. Brake condition sets the descent. Slow early, hold a steady line, and leave enough stopping power for the next turn. Road conditions can change within one descent. Ice and fog grip the pass. Falling rocks, landslides, and vehicles crossing the center line tighten the margin below. Road crews clear debris, mend barriers, brace slopes, and reopen sections after storms. Their machines hold together a corridor exposed to the next storm. Trucks carry food, medicine, mail, fuel, and machinery, not just tourists. Buses move students, workers, and families. Ambulances take the same bends when weather allows. When one slide closes the route, the delay reaches far beyond the queue. Shop shelves, building work, medical journeys, and delivery schedules all fall behind. Each repaired bend pulls the plateau closer to eastern cities. Every blocked bend exposes how much now depends on the road. In the pre-dawn dark, pilgrims repeatedly lower their entire bodies outside the Yokang, regarded by many Tibetan Buddhists as Tibet's most sacred temple. The temple dates to the 7th century, and some worshippers arrive after long journeys from distant plateau communities. On padded boards, hands extend, knees bend, the body reaches the ground, and the sequence begins again. The act consumes strength before entry is even granted. When the doors open, controlled queues move clockwise through dark chapels towards sacred images above all the revered Yo Shakyamuni statue. The ancient destination is reached through managed movement. White katas, money, and clarified yak butter pass from worshippers to temple workers. The butter feeds lamps. Workers trim wicks, clean spills, and keep the offering from overwhelming the room. Devotion rests on a hidden shift of labor. Monks keep ritual schedules, attendants direct people, custodians shield murals and statues, cleaners manage floors crossed by thousands of feet. Restricted rooms and crowd controls make one fact plain: sacred access has never become limitless, simply because Lhasa is easier to reach. Faster transport can shorten the route to the Yokang. Preservation still depends on prostrations, trimmed wicks, guarded rooms, and prayers spoken every day. At dawn, Lhasa's old lanes wake to prayer, QR codes, and electric motors under the same hard cold. At roughly 3,600 meters, winter freezes pipes, weakens batteries, and makes heavy work punish unadjusted lungs. Before offices open, pilgrims circle the Yokang. Vendors lift shutters, restaurant crews receive produce, and sanitation workers clear lanes too tight for ordinary trucks. The city is hauled into motion by bodies and small machines fighting altitude. Rail and road networks now push vegetables, packaged food, and building materials across great distances into the valley. Modern access begins with freight, not slogans. Whitewashed homes and the Potala Palace still anchor Lhasa, but apartments, hospitals, universities, shopping centers, and multi-lane roads direct much of the working day. Residents stream from courtyard neighborhoods toward newer districts by bus, bicycle, taxi, and electric scooter. Even a small purchase can pass through a QR code, though a phone signal does not put money in a household. Families also cross between Tibetan and Mandarin, at home, in school, in government work, in tourism, and across digital media. The route to education and a salary can reduce the hours a child lives inside a grandmother's language. Prayer sets Barkhor Street's commercial clock. Before most shutters rise, the clockwise kora around the Yokang is already carrying a steady flow of pilgrims past the same narrow storefronts. Pilgrims count beads, recite mantras, and lower themselves in prostration while sanitation crews and small delivery vehicles prepare the route for trade. Ritual movement sets the day's commercial rhythm before commerce announces itself. Then shutters rise on incense, butter lamp supplies, prayer flags, groceries, clothing, shoes, and souvenirs. One shop may serve worshippers buying offerings residents buying necessities and tour groups buying a portable version of Tibetan culture. That mix is Barkhor's strength and its pressure. The kora supplies dependable customers, but distant factories and wholesale markets increasingly decide what reaches the shelves. Cash and bargaining remain. While a QR code removes the need to handle change, the transaction becomes faster. The gap between access and purchasing power does not. Security checks and managed entry points break the circuit into controlled passages. At crowded hours, pilgrims, residents, porters, guides, and visitors must negotiate the same tight ground. Pilgrimage still drives Barkhor's market. The market, in turn, changes what pilgrims carry around the circuit. Spring turns Nyingchi's peach orchards into a tourist market before the fruit itself even exists. Humid air entering through the Yarlung Sangpo corridor feeds forests and river terraces, where much of the plateau remains bare. Blossom season is also repair season. Households clear irrigation channels, prune branches, prepare fields, tend livestock, and shield young growth from frost, hail, and irregular rain. The blossom is brief. The work runs all year. After flowering come picking, sorting, packing, and a race against spoilage. Before the new links, a harvest leaned heavily on nearby buyers and older road routes. Highways and the Lhasa Nyingchi Railway now push fruit toward urban customers and tourist tables. Phones add another storefront. Online sales can weeden a village market, while guest houses, restaurants, transport, construction, and government jobs spread household income beyond the field. Yet access transfers risk as well as opportunity. Earnings now swing with visitor seasons, freight prices, land values, and demand set far beyond the orchard. The orchard gains a railway timetable, but school and wage work follow different clocks. When children and working-age adults leave, the harvest falls on fewer hands and Tibetan is heard less often at home. A train now reaches Lhasa only after crossing frozen ground and a pass more than 5,000 meters high. Since 2006, the Qinghai-Tibet line has carried oxygen-enriched passenger cars across terrain that defeats ordinary rail engineering. Elevated track lifts, steel above unstable permafrost. Beneath it, the railway must hold its geometry while the ground freezes, softens, and shifts. But the greater change begins when the doors open. Students, workers, patients, families, porters, and visitors enter the same timetable. Freight now moves packaged food, machinery, vehicles, and construction materials more cheaply and predictably than road transport alone once allowed. That steadier flow supports hospitals, shops, and building sites. It also sharpens competition, raises demand for housing and water, and adds traffic and waste. The station does not merely serve Lhasa. It changes what the city can consume, build, and expect. Distance has been compressed, but pressure has not. Access expands first. Household income may lag, leaving poorer families to pay with time and labor. The railway leaves a harder question in its wake. When work, treatment, and school move closer, Who can afford to use them without sending labor or children away? A city built for study can be changed by controlling who is allowed to sleep there. Lhasa grew from a center founded in 1980 into one of the largest hubs of Tibetan Buddhist study, then faced demolitions, relocations, and tighter controls beginning in 2016. Near Surtar, red cabins compressed monks, nuns, and lay students into a high valley. That density kept teachers, debates, rituals, and courses of memorization within reach. Scholarship here depended on hard infrastructure. Food had to move, water had to flow, paths had to stay open, and rooms had to hold warmth through severe winter cold. From 2016, a more regulated plan reduced the settlement and altered the packed landscape known from older photographs. Housing changed first. Then the deeper network shifted. Admissions narrowed, residents moved, and some teacher-student ties or long programs became harder to maintain. Safety rules and tighter administration may strengthen the physical site, yet knowledge still depends on proximity, time, and permission to remain. At Lhasa, modernization is measured not only by regulated plans and managed services, but by how many years of study can still fit inside the valley. Advanced Buddhist study for women here depended not on monumental buildings, but on huts, footpaths, and neighbors. At its peak, Yarkandgar held more than 10,000 people in a river valley, with women forming the clear majority. Its strength came from concentration. Nuns lived close to teachers, teaching halls, retreat spaces, and one another, turning a remote settlement into a working center of scholarship. The day joined recitation and classes to food preparation, water carrying, fuel collection, and hut repair. Study did not float above survival, it rested on daily labor. Long retreats made that dependence even clearer. Other residents delivered food, maintained paths, exchanged teachings, and responded when cold or illness placed someone under severe pressure. Since 2019, extensive intervention has removed large areas of housing. Many residents were relocated or prevented from returning. The visible loss was wooden huts. The larger cost was separation, teachers from students, retreat practice from support, and religious training from the community that made it possible. At Yarkandgar, a more controlled valley came with a concrete price. Every cleared cluster narrowed a rare path through which women could pursue years of Buddhist study. Sacred Lake limits one kind of harvest while the road builds another on its shore. At more than 4,000 meters, Yamdrok Yumtso offers no easy living. Pasture is limited, winter feed uncertain, and visitor income seasonal. Households keep sheep, goats, cattle, and yaks, cultivate small plots, dry dung for fuel, sort wool, repair pens, and secure fodder before snow closes grazing. The phone signal may reach the roof, it cannot fill the winter store. Fishing has traditionally been limited by religious taboos, So the lake remains more than a stock of food waiting to be taken. Samding Monastery and the Dorji Phagmo lineage deepen that sacred claim. Roads over high passes now bring tour buses, motorcycles, photography stops, souvenir stalls, and animal photo businesses. A sheep or yak posed for a photograph can turn passing traffic into cash. That money helps some families buy supplies, but it weakens when the visitor season ends. Solar panels and mobile service reduce isolation, yet wind, cold, and thin pasture still set the terms of household survival. When visitor traffic thins, winter restores the older arithmetic: pasture, fodder, fuel, and available hands. At 4,000 meters, a motorcycle can shorten the ride to a yak herd without shortening the herding year. Laitang lies in Kham, within present-day Sichuan, where pasture rather than a permanent camp still sets the calendar. Spring begins with depleted winter reserves, weak newborns, and a hard search for grass. One delayed move can strain both animals and household labor. In summer, families move or divide herds toward richer grazing. They milk female yaks, churn butter, make cheese, repair tents, and collect dung for fuel. Autumn brings counting, selling selected stock, storing dairy food, cutting fodder where possible, and preparing winter houses. The entire year is packed into a narrow weather window. Snowstorms, drought, pasture damage, disease, and predators can erase months of effort. Motorcycles and phones help herders check scattered animals and call traders. Trucks carry livestock products to town. Solar power can reach camp before pavement. But fencing, grazing limits, conservation rules, settlement programs, and distant schools redraw the old routes. Each convenience can reduce pasture, labor, or time at camp. Markets move closer, while distant schooling removes both a herding hand and a daily Tibetan speaker from camp. Shigatse's station ties barley valleys and western routes to hospitals, schools, monasteries, and distant job markets. More than a decade after the Lhasa extension opened, passengers and freight still share one steel corridor into the city. The city is the Sang region's main trading and service center, pulling buses, farm vehicles, patients, students, pilgrims, and officials from barley valleys and western routes. Packaged goods and building materials move the other way, pushing deeper into the plateau. Tashil Hunpo Monastery remains a religious and economic anchor, while banks, schools, hospitals, and apartment blocks press close around it. For a rural household, Shigatse can mean specialist care, an examination, a crop buyer, or the first salaried position beyond village agriculture. Access is real. So is the bill. Boarding accommodation lets children from scattered settlements stay near school, often in classrooms where Mandarin carries more weight in later education and employment. The gain may be free schooling for a poorer household. The cost is a farmhand, daily time together, and ordinary use of Tibetan at home. The station can shorten the journey between home and school. It cannot return the weekdays a family now spends apart. Modern climbing equipment reaches K2, but rescue can still remain days away. The mountain rises about 8,600 meters in the Karakoram, on the border between Pakistan-administered Gilgit-Baltistan and China's Xinjiang region. West of the plateau, K2 offers a harder comparison, another high Asian frontier where access, permits, labor, and political borders decide who can move. Most expeditions approach from Pakistan along the Baltoro Glacier. Before climbers occupy the high camps, Balti porters move food, fuel, tents, ropes, oxygen, and personal equipment across the long approach. That supply line is the hidden engine of every summit bid. Modern gear may reduce some risks, but it adds more weight, more fuel, and more work at lower altitude. Higher up, the Abruzzi Spoor forces teams onto steep rock and ice. At the bottleneck, the route passes beneath unstable seracs, while storms can pin teams down and remoteness sharply limits rescue. The first confirmed ascent came in 1954. The first winter summit did not follow until 2021. On K2, even the most modern expedition begins as weight on Balti porters' backs. An abandoned capital climbs one ridge in 3 layers, homes below, temples above, and a citadel at the top. From around the 10th century, Guj controlled routes linking western Tibet with Ladakh, Kashmir, and India. Merchants and diplomats carried more than goods. Texts, artists, and religious ideas moved through Saparang, supporting Buddhist scholarship and temple building. The town turned height into control. Caves and dwellings filled lower slopes. Temples and offices held higher ground. Tunnels and steep paths tied the levels together. Surviving murals carry influences across political and cultural boundaries. This remote seat was shaped by exchange, not isolation. After Ladakhi forces took Guj in 1630, the capital declined and was eventually abandoned. Height and tunnels strengthened defense, but could not preserve political control. Now the structure itself is under pressure. Wind strips exposed earth, runoff cuts slopes, unstable sediment shifts, and earlier upheaval and human damage still mark painted interiors. Protecting mud-built walls means resisting weather without sealing the ruins away from support. Access brings conservators and supplies, but its wear is already visible. New links can carry conservators and knowledge to Saparang. They cannot make the sediment beneath its inherited culture stable. Roads have shortened the journey to a lake, where even a brief stop can strain the body. Manasarovar lies about 4,600 meters above sea level, south of Mount Kailash, where low oxygen, freezing temperatures, strong wind, and ultraviolet exposure press every visit. Freshwater Manasarovar stands beside saline Lake Rakshastal, while 4 religious traditions treat its shore as sacred ground. Its Sanskrit name is commonly understood as the Lake of the Mind. Pilgrims pray, meditate, collect water, or wash at a shoreline that offers little physical comfort. Roads and vehicles have cut approaches that once demanded far more time. The gain is real: less distance, quicker access, and practical support in a severe landscape. But the shoreline carries the cost. Toilets, waste collection, accommodation, and protection must expand when arrival becomes easier. Open water and wetlands support migratory birds in an otherwise harsh environment. Ice cover, runoff, evaporation, and broader climate shifts can alter both the water and the shoreline. The road saves pilgrims time. Manasarovar absorbs the difference in waste, shoreline pressure, and demand for services. A monastery beyond the road now has to defend its silence from the devices that make the world feel close. Tiger's Nest clings at about 3,100 meters, roughly 900 meters above Bhutan's Paro Valley. Tradition links this cliff to Padmasambhava, said to have reached it on a tigress and meditated in a cave. The legend puts spiritual authority where ordinary access remains hard. The approach still controls the place. People climb through pine forest, descend stone steps beside a waterfall, cross a bridge, then climb again. Maintenance crews cannot simply drive to the walls. Timber, tools, and supplies must follow the same steep ground, so every repair begins as a test of transport and endurance. Founded in 1692, Taksang was rebuilt after the fire of 1998 and reopened in 2005. Its timber, butter lamps, wind, and inaccessible slope make preservation a permanent engineering burden. Reconstruction did not turn Tiger's Nest into a scenic shell. Photography and electronics remain restricted inside, and worship still sets the rules of movement. Taksang keeps its force by refusing to erase the final climb. Every visitor and every repair load must still pay in effort. The world's highest summit is reached through a labor chain that begins far below the snow. Komolangma rises nearly 8,900 meters on the Tibet-Nepal border. Above 8,000, thin air leaves almost no margin for delay. From the north, buses, checkpoints, and permits carry visitors across a dry, wind-cut plateau toward Rongbuk Monastery and an authorized viewing area. Managed access now comes before the climb. Expeditions require a heavier machine. Tibetan and Sherpa workers drive, guide, cook, build camps, fix routes, carry loads, maintain communications, and respond when weather or equipment closes the narrow options. That work makes modern ambition possible. It also raises the harder question: who receives the summit story and who absorbs the pressure below? Oxygen cylinders, torn tents, food wrapping, and abandoned equipment remain after teams descend. Cleanup campaigns and tighter controls remove part of it, never the full burden. Glaciers are retreating, and changing ice can alter routes and water systems. Better radios and stronger logistics improve reach, but they cannot hold the mountain still. After climbers descend, loads on local shoulders, unstable routes, and discarded equipment remain below the summit. Timmed doors and prescribed routes now govern a building that once held government, worship, and winter life. More than 1,000 rooms stand above Lhasa, while entry is restricted to protect interiors filled with murals, manuscripts, statues, chapels, and memorial stupas. 7th century royal residence came first on Marpo-ri. The present complex began in 1645 under the 5th Dalai Lama and expanded through the late 17th century. The White Palace held residential and administrative rooms. The Red Palace concentrated chapels, ceremonial spaces, manuscripts, statues, murals, and memorial stupas. These walls once joined sacred authority to daily rule, serving as a winter residence and government center until 1959. That function did not merely move, it ended. Today, the Potala must carry several identities at once: museum, limited place of worship, UNESCO World Heritage Site, political symbol, and major attraction. Timed entry, fixed routes, conservation work, and limits on photography or contact shield fragile surfaces. They also turn a former seat of power into a managed encounter. The palace stays open by becoming less like the place it once was. Each protective barrier pushes its former life further behind the walls. Fortress built between two rivers gains life from the water that can also overwhelm it. For nearly 400 years, Punakha Dzong has occupied the meeting of Bhutan's Pho-chu and Mo-chu. Its thick walls contain temples, offices, courtyards, towers, and monastic quarters. Defense, government, ceremony, and worship do not stand apart here. They share the same structure. Once Bhutan's capital, the Dzong still serves as the winter residence of the Je Khenpo and central monastic body, which moved down from colder Thimphu. It also held the installation of Bhutan's first hereditary king in 1907. And the royal wedding in 2011, old walls continue to carry current authority. The same rivers that feed fertile ground also expose the complex to floods, including hazards from glacial lakes. Earthquakes and repeated fire damage have added further pressure across its history. Restoration is therefore not a rescue staged after the past. It continues around festivals, office work, monastic routines, and state ceremonies because the building never stopped being used. Present-day government can work inside these courtyards only because repair crews keep a 400-year-old seat of power standing. A town sustained by snowmelt now packs airport traffic, hotels, army compounds, and expanding neighborhoods onto a desert floor. Leh stands about 3,500 meters above sea level, where almost every settlement still depends on channels carrying glacier and snow-fed water. The old bazaar grew from caravan routes linking Kashmir, Tibet, Central Asia, and the Indian plains. Wool, salt, tea, and grain crossed this high junction. The 17th century Li Palace still marks that earlier town. Below it, airport traffic, offices, schools, hospitals, tourism, and military logistics drive a faster economy. That shift brings salaries and access. It also pulls workers from farming, while guest houses and new housing replace cultivated ground. Summer exposes the unequal exchange. Hotels need water when melt-fed channels already carry homes, trees, and farms. Traffic, sewage, and solid waste rise beside them. Schools and hospitals widen choice, but the household arithmetic stays hard. Paid work can remove hands from fields, while a child's education redistributes chores and time at home. Leh is closer to the wider world than the caravan town ever was. But access is not equal when poorer families must surrender water, farm labor, time together, or daily use of a mother tongue to claim its benefits. The world's deepest canyon carries a major river through terrain still forced upward. It bends around Namcha Barwa for roughly 500 kilometers, with about 6,000 meters from nearby crest to river. Two forces make that scale. Tectonic uplift raises the land while the Yarlung Sangpo cuts downward, leaving villages, footpaths, roads, and bridges to compete for limited stable ground. The Great Bend drives monsoon moisture north. Cold heights give way rapidly to forests, waterfalls, and humid lower valleys. Access remains fragile. Landslides and earthquakes repeatedly reshape the narrow ground and can damage each road or bridge built across it. Downstream, the same water becomes the Siang and then the Brahmaputra. Plateau water and sediment continue across South Asia. This is never only a local river. Large hydropower proposals promise electricity and construction at immense scale. They also raise hard questions about fragmented habitat, seismic risk, altered sediment, displacement, and effects beyond political borders. Electricity could widen access. Altered sediment and other effects could continue downstream, long after power enters the grid. The proposal is local only on a map. Its risks follow the river across borders. A road now runs beneath cliff rooms whose original paths have vanished. Across Upper Mustang, thousands of caves cut into the cliffs can now require ropes and specialist climbers because erosion removed their approaches. Upper Mustang belonged to the former kingdom of Lo. Its language, Buddhism, architecture, and caravan history remain tied to Tibet, although the region is not part of Tibet. These chambers were never one project with one purpose. Across periods, they served as dwellings, stores, retreat cells, monastic rooms, and places for manuscripts and murals. Pottery, jewelry, texts, and paintings preserve evidence of changing settlement and ritual practice. The cliffs hold an archive, but erosion has cut away parts of its access. Roads have reversed that isolation at ground level. Trucks and motorcycles now move through valleys once crossed by pack animals, bringing supplies faster and generating tourism income. The gain is real, but so is the load. More construction, more dust, faster outmigration, and greater physical pressure on fragile caves. Controlled permits regulate outside access, not every change created by the road. Supplies arrive faster, residents leave faster, and road dust settles on caves already weakened by erosion. Sacred Lake can now be reached through ticket gates and buses, but no road can make its altitude gentle. Nampso lies north of Lhasa at about 4,700 meters, where thin air, hard wind, winter ice, and rough waves still control the shore. For Tibetan Buddhist and Bon pilgrims, the Tashidor Peninsula is not a photography stop. Its caves and sacred rocks belong to a circuit of devotion shaped by walking, weather, and time. Now, guest houses, buses, souvenir stalls, and schedules compress that circuit into an itinerary. Access brings income and opens the lake to people once kept away by distance. The grasslands support herding families, while migratory birds gather beside a saline basin fed by snowmelt and glacier runoff. Tourism has not replaced the older uses, it presses against them. The lake has no outlet. Evaporation, runoff, wind, and shifting ice can move its shoreline despite the fixed roads around it. The Holy Elephant Gate made that lesson physical. Wind and water carved the weak rock, then damaged it until the celebrated formation collapsed. At Nampso, the shorter journey crowds the shore and compresses an older pilgrimage into a timetable. The vast city of towers fills this basin, yet no mason built a single wall. Ancient lakes and rivers laid down silt, sand, and gravel before tectonic uplift raised the whole mass. Runoff then cut gullies, frost split exposed faces, wind lifted loose grains, and gravity pulled unsupported sections down. Repeated over time, those forces produced ridges, streets, and battlements. Near Guj, the resemblance to a ruined capital becomes almost deceptive. But Saparang was built by people. The earth forest was cut from deposited sediment. Roads curling along the basin floor expose the scale of the engineering challenge. Vehicles shrink beneath unstable cliffs, while cultivated patches occupy the limited ground villages can use. Rain can deepen a channel quickly in this soft material. A route opened for access may face fresh cuts and unstable edges as soon as the weather turns. Roads open the basin, but rain and gravity can break that access again. The route is maintenance, not conquest. The road survives only as a temporary line across ground that is still moving. Desert once crossed by caravans now carries tourist vans, military convoys, and camels earning a second living. The road over Kardungla climbs to about 5,400 meters, then funnels supply trucks, buses, farm traffic, and visitors into the same narrow valley. Nubra once linked Ladakh with Tibet and Central Asia through Buddhism and caravan trade. Its Bactrian camels descend from animals tied to that Trans-Karakoram traffic. Around Hunter, Tourism has turned the two-humped camels into earners on river and wind-formed dunes. Guest houses and rides bring cash where farming offers little margin. Yet cash cannot refill the valley's real reserve, glacier and snowmelt. Irrigation channels feed barley, wheat, peas, mustard, fruit, and the poplar and willow sheltering villages. New rooms and peak seasons draw more from those channels, while construction takes fields and pasture and overloads limited waste services. Income rises, but fields shrink and water demand climbs. Above Diskit, a 32-meter maitreya stands over farms, dunes, and border logistics packed into one hard basin. The new income cannot be separated from that physical strain. Distance once restricted choice. The road now opens markets and work, but every vehicle and building competes for meltwater, farm ground, and room for waste. At Mount Kailash, modern access ends below a summit no one is permitted to claim. At about 6,600 meters, the mountain has no reliably confirmed ascent, while pilgrims face a circuit of roughly 52 kilometers. Sacred to Hindus, Tibetan Buddhists, Jains, and followers of Bon Kailash, pulls different traditions onto the same hard ground. The route starts near Darchen and runs toward the northern face and Dirapuk. The hardest stage climbs toward Drol Mala at about 5,600 meters. Low oxygen, wind, snow, and sudden weather can slow even experienced walkers. The circuit then drops toward Zudilpuk and returns to Darchen, usually over 3 days. Guest houses, tent stops, porters, animal transport drivers, and medical assistants now support the route. Yet equipment cannot flatten altitude. Evacuation remains difficult where distance, weather, and thin air still control the pace. Most Buddhist and Hindu pilgrims move clockwise. Bon practitioners traditionally go the other way, and some pilgrims advance through repeated full-body prostrations, stretching 3 days into weeks. Climbing is prohibited. The summit remains sacred, not an engineering target. Support matters, but its limit matters more. Transport shortens the approach, not what the circuit demands from the body. You do not see a clean choice between preservation and progress. A mother may need the clinic reached by asphalt. A herder may need the market reached by phone. A child may need the school that also weakens daily contact with home speech. Poverty makes each bargain uneven. Wealthy families can adopt new tools and protect old knowledge. Poor families often must exchange one for the other. That is the warning. Roads and signals are not enough. If wages, local schools, and mother tongue teaching do not advance with them, new connections can drain the valley. Workers leave, children leave. Control gathers far from home. The future of the plateau will be judged not by how fast steel arrives, but by whether local families can afford to shape what follows. In the comments, identify one benefit a familiar community gained from new infrastructure, and one part of local life it surrendered when household income failed to keep pace with change.